What is fame? It's a blinding, intoxicating light, a dream whispered in 1,000,000 bedrooms and chased on 1,000 city streets. For a select few, that dream becomes a reality. Their names are etched onto movie posters, their faces beamed onto screens around the globe. They become heroes, icons, the very definition of success. But what happens when that light fades? What happens when the applause dies down, replaced by the deafening silence of scandal, the harsh judgment of the public eye, or the quiet retreat into obscurity? The fall from grace is often more dramatic, more heart-wrenching, and far more memorable than the rise. Today, we look at 19 actors who reached the absolute pinnacle of stardom, only to find themselves tumbling back down to earth, their careers and lives forever changed. These are the stories of Hollywood's fallen heroes. We begin with a name that once defined blockbuster stardom: Mel Gibson. In the 80s and 90s, he was an untouchable force. From the rugged anti-hero of Mad Max to the charismatic cop in the Lethal Weapon series, Gibson had a magnetic charm that audiences adored. He wasn't just a movie star, he was a global phenomenon. His directorial masterpiece, Braveheart, solidified his status as Hollywood royalty, earning him 2 Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Picture. He was on top of the world, a hero, both on and off the screen. The downfall was as public as it was shocking. In 2006, a DUI arrest was accompanied by an anti-Semitic tirade that sent shockwaves through the industry. Leaked audio recordings a few years later, filled with racist and misogynistic rants, further cemented his pariah status. The charming hero image was shattered, replaced by that of a volatile and hateful man. Hollywood, an industry built on image, turned its back. Major studios blacklisted him, and his leading man roles evaporated almost overnight, leaving a once bright career in the shadows of its own making. Next, consider the meteoric rise and equally dramatic fall of Charlie Sheen. For years, he was the king of television. As the star of 2.5 Men, he wasn't just acting a part. He was, in many ways, playing a heightened version of his own bad boy persona. And for a time, it worked. Spectacularly. He became the highest paid actor on television, earning a staggering $1.8 million per episode. His name was synonymous with comedy, excess, and a kind of rebellious charm that captivated millions. But the line between his on-screen character and his real life began to blur, and then completely dissolve. In 2011, a series of bizarre and erratic public interviews, where he spoke of tiger blood and winning, coupled with his increasingly unstable behavior and public feuds with the show's creator, Chuck Lorre, led to his very public firing. The fallout was immense. The king of television became a cautionary tale, a meme. While he has worked since, he has never again reached the incredible heights of his 2.5 Men fame, a stark reminder of how quickly a public meltdown can derail a seemingly unstoppable career. Kevin Spacey. Few actors have been as universally acclaimed as Kevin Spacey. A true actor's actor, he captivated audiences with his versatility, seamlessly moving from the sinister Kaiser Soze in The Usual Suspects, for which he won an Oscar, to the tormented Lester Burnham in American Beauty, earning him a second. He was a titan of both stage and screen, respected for his craft and celebrated for his intelligence. With the lead role in Netflix's first major original series, House of Cards, he became a pioneer of the streaming era. His character, Frank Underwood, a modern-day Shakespearean villain. The collapse was swift and total. In 2017, at the height of the #MeToo movement, allegations of sexual misconduct and assault, some involving minors, began to surface. The accusations, spanning decades, painted a horrifying picture that stood in stark contrast to his esteemed public persona. The industry's response was decisive. He was fired from House of Cards. His completed scenes in the film All the Money in the World were famously reshot with another actor, and he was effectively erased from Hollywood. Once a celebrated icon, his legacy is now irrevocably tarnished. His name synonymous with a scandal that exposed a dark side, hidden in plain sight. Then there's the story of Wesley Snipes, an action hero who defined a generation. In the 1990s, Snipes was a powerhouse, starring in hit after hit, from New Jack City to White Men Can't Jump. But it was his role as the half-vampire, half-human hero in the Blade trilogy that cemented his legendary status. He wasn't just playing a superhero. For many, he was Blade, with a cool, stoic intensity that made the character an icon. The films were a massive success, and Snipes was at the zenith of his career. However, his downfall was a one-two punch of professional and personal crises. On the set of Blade Trinity, his behavior became notoriously difficult, with co-stars and the director describing him as unprofessional and volatile, a reputation that quickly spread. But the final nail in the coffin was his conviction for tax evasion. In 2008, he was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. When he was released in 2013, the Hollywood landscape had changed. The once bankable action hero found it difficult to reclaim his A-list status. His momentum lost to years of legal battles and a tarnished reputation. The cautionary tale of Lindsay Lohan is one that played out under the harsh, relentless glare of the paparazzi's flashbulbs. She was America's sweetheart, a talented child actress who blossomed into a bona fide movie star with hits like Mean Girls and Freaky Friday. Her charm, talent, and girl next door appeal made her one of the most promising actresses of her generation. It seemed there was no limit to her potential. But the pressures of fame at such a young age took a heavy toll. Her late teens and 20s were marked by a string of legal troubles, including multiple DUIs, arrests, and rehab stints. Her personal struggles became front-page tabloid fodder, overshadowing her acting career. The reliable professional young star was replaced by a perception of someone who was a liability on set. Roles became scarcer, and the once bright promise of her career dimmed. A heartbreaking example of how personal demons, amplified by intense public scrutiny, can derail a journey to the top. In the late 2010s, Armie Hammer was on a clear trajectory to becoming one of Hollywood's next great leading men. With his classic movie star looks and roles in acclaimed films like The Social Network and Call Me by Your Name, he was a respected and sought-after talent. He was handsome, charismatic, and came from a prominent family. The path to long-term A-list status seemed all but guaranteed. The hero image crumbled in spectacular fashion in early 2021. A series of leaked, explicit messages, allegedly from Hammer, detailed disturbing and violent sexual fantasies, including cannibalism. These were soon followed by formal accusations of sexual assault and emotional abuse from several women. The scandal was shocking and bizarre, and the fallout was immediate. He was dropped by his talent agency and publicist, and exited from a slate of high-profile projects. In a matter of weeks, one of Hollywood's most promising careers was in free fall. His name now linked to one of the most unsettling controversies in recent memory. For a time, Katherine Heigl was the reigning queen of romantic comedies and a beloved television star. After winning an Emmy for her role on the massive hit show Grey's Anatomy, she successfully transitioned to the big screen with blockbusters like Knocked Up and 27 Dresses. She was relatable, funny, and immensely popular, with a career that seemed to have the perfect balance of television and film success. Her downfall wasn't due to a legal scandal, but rather a series of public statements that earned her a reputation for being difficult. In interviews, she called her breakout film, Knocked Up, a little sexist. and publicly withdrew her name from Emmy consideration for Grey's Anatomy, stating she wasn't given the material to warrant a nomination. In an industry that values agreeability, especially from women, these comments were seen as ungrateful and unprofessional. The backlash was swift. Her movie roles began to dry up, and her time on Grey's came to an end. It was a stark lesson in Hollywood politics, where speaking one's mind, however valid, can lead to a long and difficult road back. The story of Macaulay Culkin is a unique and poignant one. As the star of the Home Alone films, he was, without exaggeration, the biggest child star in the world. His charming and mischievous performance as Kevin McAllister made him a global icon and a multi-millionaire before he was even a teenager. He was the face of a generation's childhood Christmases, a hero to kids everywhere. But the immense pressure of that level of fame, combined with a difficult family situation where his parents publicly battled over his earnings, led him to step away from acting at the age of 14. His return to the public eye in his early 20s was marked by an arrest for drug possession and a gaunt appearance that fueled years of tabloid speculation. While he has since carved out a niche for himself with independent projects, the overwhelming fame of his youth effectively ended his career as a mainstream leading man, a choice he made to reclaim his own life. In the early 2000s, Amanda Bynes was the undisputed queen of teen comedy. Rising to fame on her own hit Nickelodeon sketch show, The Amanda Show, she proved to have impeccable comedic timing and a magnetic on-screen presence. She successfully transitioned to film, starring in beloved movies like What a Girl Wants and She's the Man. She was talented, funny, and on a clear path to becoming a major adult comedy star, often drawing comparisons to comedic legends of the past. However, her career came to an abrupt halt around 2012. A series of alarming and erratic behaviors, documented through her own bizarre social media posts and several run-ins with the law, including a case where she set a small fire in a stranger's driveway, revealed a young woman in the midst of a serious mental health crisis. This led to a years-long conservatorship and a complete retreat from the public eye. The once vibrant comedic actress vanished from our screens, her promising career a casualty of the immense pressures of childhood stardom and a very public battle with mental illness. Roseanne Barr was more than a TV star. She was a cultural icon. Her groundbreaking sitcom, Roseanne, was a massive success in the late 80s and 90s, celebrated for its realistic portrayal of a blue-collar American family. Roseanne's sharp wit made her a hero to millions. When the show was rebooted in 2018, it was an astonishing success, premiering to massive ratings and proving that her voice was as relevant as ever. She had achieved what few can, a triumphant return to the top. The second downfall was even more stunning. Just as the reboot was hitting its stride, Barr posted a racist tweet targeting a former Obama administration advisor. The backlash was instantaneous and overwhelming. ABC canceled the reboot within hours, stating that her remark was abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. Her creation was rebranded as The Connors, and her character was killed off. In a single tweet, she had erased her own monumental comeback and torched the legacy she had spent decades building. Mickey Rourke's journey is a story of a fall, a comeback, and another fall. In the 1980s, he was the epitome of cool, with his brooding good looks and intense performances in films like Diner and the controversial 9.5 Weeks. He was a magnetic and critically acclaimed actor. He had a dangerous edge that set him apart, and he was on the fast track to becoming one of the all-time greats. However, his own volatile behavior and a decision to leave acting for a professional boxing career derailed his trajectory. His return to the public eye was often marked by his dramatically altered appearance. But then came the miracle comeback. His role in 2008's The Wrestler was a revelation, earning him an Oscar nomination and universal praise. It seemed the hero had returned, but the comeback was short-lived, as subsequent erratic behavior saw him fade from the A-list once more. A tragic story of self-sabotage. For fans of the hit teen drama The O.C., Mischa Barton was the it girl of the early 2000s. As the beautiful and troubled Marissa Cooper, she became a fashion icon and a household name. The show was a cultural phenomenon, and Barton was its undeniable star. A long and successful career seemed to be her destiny. But the pressures of being the face of such a massive show at a young age proved to be overwhelming. After her character was famously killed off, Barton's career struggled to find its footing. Her life off-screen became a source of intense media scrutiny, with a DUI arrest and an involuntary psychiatric hold. The it girl image was replaced by a narrative of a troubled young star. While she has continued to work, she never recaptured the mainstream success of her OC days. Her career a poignant example of the often crushing weight of teen stardom. Emile Hirsch was once one of the most promising young actors in Hollywood. With critically acclaimed performances in films like Lords of Dogtown and his tour de force role in Sean Penn's Into the Wild, he established himself as a serious and dedicated talent. He had a rare ability to disappear into his roles. He was a true rising star, a hero of independent cinema on the verge of major mainstream success. That bright future was cast into shadow by a single, shocking incident. In 2015, during the Sundance Film Festival, a drunk Hirsch assaulted a female studio executive at a nightclub, choking her until bystanders intervened. The incident was shocking and completely out of character with his public persona. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault. While he has worked steadily since, the assault left a significant stain on his reputation, stalling the momentum of his career at a crucial moment. In the world of action cinema, Gina Carano's rise was unique and impressive. A celebrated mixed martial arts pioneer, she successfully transitioned her legitimate fighting credentials into a burgeoning acting career. Her big break came with the role of Cara Dune in the smash hit Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. As a tough, heroic rebel shock trooper, she became a fan favorite, with a potential spin-off series in the works. Her journey from hero to zero in the eyes of the studio was swift and driven by her social media activity. A series of controversial posts in which she mocked the use of pronouns and compared the political climate for conservatives to the persecution of Jewish people in Nazi Germany sparked a massive public outcry. Lucasfilm deemed her posts abhorrent and unacceptable and promptly fired her from The Mandalorian, scrubbing all plans for her character's future. Her promising career in a galaxy far, far away was extinguished overnight. T.J. Miller's brand of comedy was loud, abrasive, and for a time, incredibly successful. He was a standout star on the acclaimed HBO series Silicon Valley, where his portrayal of the arrogant Erlich Bachman earned him a Critics' Choice Television Award. He also found success in film, with memorable roles in How to Train Your Dragon and Deadpool. His star was on a rapid ascent. However, reports from the set of Silicon Valley painted a picture of an actor who was unprofessional and difficult to work with. This led to his departure from the hit show. Soon after, more serious allegations surfaced, with a former college classmate accusing him of sexual assault. This was followed by a bizarre arrest for calling in a fake bomb threat on an Amtrak train. The combination of unprofessionalism and serious legal troubles proved toxic for his career, causing his once bright comedic star to fade significantly. Let's not forget the man who was once poised to be the next great action hero, Taylor Kitsch. For a brief period, Hollywood bet everything on him. After a popular role on the TV series Friday Night Lights, he was launched into the stratosphere, headlining two massive blockbusters in a single year, Disney's John Carter and Universal's Battleship. He was on every magazine cover, the designated heir to the action throne. But in one of the most infamous box office disasters in recent memory, both films flopped, spectacularly. They were colossal financial failures, and as the face of both, Kitsch bore the brunt of the fallout. The next big thing suddenly looked like box office poison. The planned franchises were dead on arrival, and the incredible momentum he had built vanished in an instant. While he has since rebuilt his career with strong performances in smaller projects. The dream of being Hollywood's go-to blockbuster hero died in the spring of 2012. Our penultimate story is that of Isaiah Washington. In the mid-2000s, he was a key part of one of the biggest television shows on the planet, Grey's Anatomy. As the brilliant surgeon Dr. Preston Burke, he was a central figure, earning critical acclaim and a massive fan following. He was a bona fide television hero. His downfall was a direct result of his own words. In 2006, reports surfaced that he had used a homophobic slur during an on-set argument. The situation escalated when, at the Golden Globes, he publicly denied the incident by repeating the slur in his denial. The public backlash was immense. He was fired from Grey's Anatomy. The incident effectively blacklisted him from mainstream Hollywood for years. A stark illustration of how hateful language can instantly incinerate a thriving career. From the heights of Oscar glory to the center of global franchises, each of these actors once held the world in the palm of their hand. They were heroes, icons, and inspirations. But their stories serve as a powerful and often tragic reminder that fame is fragile. A single scandal, a series of bad decisions, a public outburst, or a private struggle can unravel a lifetime of work in an instant. The line between hero and zero is often razor thin, and crossing it can leave a career in ruins, and a legacy forever defined not by the meteoric rise, but by the devastating fall. Thank you for watching. If you found these stories compelling, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.